In today's video, we're going to be talking about what made Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker such a good film. The Batman Beyond universe takes place in the future, where the original Batman, aka Bruce Wayne, is retired. He ends up passing the mantle to a young Terry McGinnis. Funny enough, actually ends up being Bruce Wayne's biological son. But that's a topic for another video. In the show Batman Beyond, we're shown some of the new Batman's rogues gallery, including the likes of Ink, Shriek, and Yukare. But one thing the show was always missing was the Joker. There was a gang started called the Jokers following his death, but they were just a bunch of teenagers. They didn't have the same impact the original Joker did. Now, I did say the Joker was dead, and that statement still reigns true, kind of. So it turns out one night, while Tim Drake, aka the Third Robin, was on patrol, he was kidnapped by Harley Quinn and the Joker. They then pursue to beat and torture Robin, and by the time Batman is finally able to find him, his mind is already broken from the psychological trauma and was turned into a mini version of the Joker. Luckily, just before Tim was about to shoot Batman, he was able to muster the strength to turn the gun on Joker, thus killing the Clown Prince of Crime. However, before Joker's death, he was able to plant a chip inside Tim Drake's head, allowing him to take over his mind and body. I felt like this was the perfect way to bring back the Joker. If I had to point out one flaw I didn't like about Batman Beyond, it was, in the show, they did a piss-poor job of establishing and creating threats for the main character, which is a shame because the show actually established an interesting and likable lead. And honestly, Terry's the only other Batman I enjoy seeing besides Bruce. Let me go down the list for you. I don't like Damian Wayne because he doesn't fit or even deserve the role of Batman. I don't like Dick Grayson becoming Batman because he's already made a legacy as Nightwing, and at this point, it just seems like he's going backwards. And Tim Drake, I don't know. He just feels a little bit too bland to be the Dark Knight for me. But Terry was the perfect next generation Batman, and that's because he wasn't just the second coming of Bruce Wayne. He's not just Batman, but with a new secret identity. He's doing things completely different. He handles himself in a completely different manner than Bruce ever did. He's intelligent like the Bat who came before him, but he has an entirely different strategy than the Caped Crusader. His wit and sarcasm is much different from Bruce's stoicism. Terry can walk the walk, and also talk the talk, and in the end, that's how he manages to defeat the Joker. He beats the Joker by out-talking him. He gets inside the Joker's head.
Show yourself! You make me laugh. But only because I think you're kind of pathetic. Stop that!
And if you would have told me some new kid would wear the Batsuit and manage to manipulate the Joker by beating him at his own game, I wouldn't have believed you. Except here in execution, it works very well. The Joker's anger and obsession with the original Batman has never died down. I don't believe Joker would have ever seeked out such a life of crime and madness if it hadn't been for Batman accidentally creating him. He was in a lot of ways his muse, so here his whole plan is to get back at Bruce. He doesn't have any gripes with the new Batman outside the fact he's not the old Batman. He's just trying to use Terry as a pawn to get inside Bruce's head, just as he did with Tim Pryor, and just like he did with Jason and the comics before this. But all the while, he doesn't understand that he's not dealing with a sidekick. He's dealing with a whole new Batman, and one that he's not so familiar with. If this was a copy and paste second coming of Bruce Wayne, the Joker probably would have had a better shot of his plan. But he fails miserably because his calculations are way off. Sure, like the Robin who came before him, Terry was taught under Bruce, but he didn't always follow Bruce's protocol. He took some of what he learned from Batman and combined it with some of the stuff he already knew, all the while applying his own personality to the mantle throughout his fight. The Joker gets more and more aggressive, declaring Batman wouldn't do this or Batman wouldn't do that, but he would, because Terry's now Batman. The Batman the Joker knew is not the Batman he's fighting today. Case in point, Terry fights dirty and uses underhanded methods to get the upper hand.
What are you doing? Fighting dirty. The real Batman would never...
And unlike Bruce, who didn't have the time of day and wouldn't entertain Joker's awful jokes, Terry not only indulges him, he also clowns on the clown himself.
So you fell in a tank of acid,
Got your skin bleached, then decided to become a supervillain. What? You couldn't get work as a rodeo clown?
He manages to get under the Joker's chemical-induced pale skin like no one ever has. And when Joker's given a taste of his own medicine, as it turns out, it's kinda sour. And just when Joker thinks he's finally got Batman, he accidentally lets his guard down, allowing Terry to use Joker's own joy buzzer on him, destroying the chip inside Tim Drake's brain.
Laugh it up now, miserable little punk. Laugh! I can't hear you.
Terry exits the building with Tim Drake still intact. Tim is finally properly introduced to Terry by Barbara from his hospital bed, and they're visited by Bruce. It's a happy-ish ending to a group of people who truly deserve it.
I've been thinking about something you once told me, and you were wrong. It's not Batman that makes you worthwhile. It's the other way around.
The reason why I love this movie is because the Batman Beyond series was Terry learning how to be Batman. This movie showcases Terry as Batman. While he certainly doesn't take the title of the best Batman, he is at least a worthy number 2, and one day he'll hang up his in a case next to Bruce's. I'm Hollow Power, and that was Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker. I want to thank you all for watching again, and if you enjoyed, feel free to like the video and subscribe.